The moment humans learned to cook was not just about food. It may have quietly reshaped the human brain itself. Cooking feels completely ordinary today, something we barely think twice about. But for early humans, learning to cook was a genuine turning point, one that researchers believe changed our bodies, our brains, and how we lived together. In this video, we will look at real evidence for when and why cooking may have begun. Let's start with a simple, almost overlooked moment: raw meat touching flame for the first time, a quiet sizzle, the color slowly shifting from red to brown. To us, this looks completely unremarkable. To early humans encountering it for the first time, it may have been genuinely strange. Cooking is something every human culture on record shares. According to researchers, there is no known human population, past or present, that survives entirely without cooking. That alone suggests cooking is not just a cultural preference. It may be something deeply tied to how our species developed in the first place. Quick question for you. Have you ever thought about how strange it must have looked? The very first time someone deliberately cooked food rather than eating it raw? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. The real evidence for ancient cooking. Figuring out exactly when cooking began is genuinely difficult, since fire and food do not always leave clear, lasting evidence behind. Still, archaeologists have found some remarkably old clues. At Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, researchers discovered ash and burned bone fragments deep inside the cave, in a location too far from the entrance to have been caused naturally by wind or water. This evidence has been dated to around 1 million years ago, making it some of the earliest known evidence of controlled fire use. Even more direct evidence of actual cooking comes from a site in Israel called Gesher Beno Yaakov. There, researchers found the remains of ancient fish that showed clear signs of having been deliberately heated, dated to around 780,000 years ago. Alongside the fish bones, archaeologists also found stone circles believed to represent early hearths, further supporting the idea that this was intentional cooking, not an accidental fire. From curiosity to confidence, based on what we know about early human behavior, that first encounter with cooked food likely did not happen with immediate confidence. It probably started with hesitation. Picture someone pulling a piece of meat back from the fire too soon, unsure what they were even looking at, cautiously smelling it before deciding whether to try it at all. That first bite likely carried real uncertainty, followed, if researchers like Richard Wrangham are right, by genuine surprise. Cooked meat is easier to chew, easier to digest, and often more appealing in taste and texture compared to raw meat. This shift from suspicion to surprise to enjoyment may have been one of the quiet turning points in early human history, repeated independently again and again across different groups and generations, long before anyone could have understood why cooked food felt so much more satisfying than raw. Have you ever tried a new food nervously, only to be pleasantly surprised once you actually tasted it? That very human reaction may connect us directly to this ancient moment. How the idea spread without words. Once one person or one small group discovered the benefits of cooked food, the idea likely did not need to be explained through language to spread. Early humans were highly observant, and imitation is a powerful learning tool even without formal instruction. This kind of silent, observational learning is something we still see today in how children pick up habits simply by watching the adults around them, long before they can fully explain why those habits matter. Researchers studying early hominin behavior suggest that once cooking proved beneficial, others nearby likely began bringing their own food to shared fires, copying the behavior simply by watching and participating, rather than being formally taught. This kind of imitation-based learning is still a powerful force in human behavior today, and it may have played a major role in cooking becoming a shared, widespread practice rather than staying an isolated discovery. Confirming the evidence with modern science. It is worth briefly touching on how researchers confirm findings like these, since it is not simply guesswork based on old bones and ash. Scientists use specialized techniques, including microscopic analysis of sediment layers and infrared spectroscopy, to distinguish deliberate, controlled fires from accidental wildfires or natural debris that may have washed or blown into a site over time. At Wonderwork Cave specifically, researchers noted that the cave's location, deep underground and far from any natural entry point for wind or water, made it highly unlikely that the ash and burned bone found there could have arrived by anything other than deliberate human activity. This kind of careful, methodical verification is part of why archaeologists feel confident describing this evidence as genuine, intentional fire use, rather than coincidence. Why cooking may have changed human biology. Beyond taste and convenience, researchers believe cooking may have had a much deeper biological impact. This idea, often called called the cooking hypothesis, was notably proposed by primatologist Richard Wrangham, who argued that cooked food delivers significantly more usable energy than raw food, since cooking breaks down tough fibers and starches, making them easier for the body to digest. Fossil evidence supports part of this idea. Researchers have observed that around the same period cooking evidence increases, the teeth and digestive tracts of early humans appear to shrink, while brain size appears to increase. Since digestion requires a significant amount of energy, freeing up calories through easier to digest, cooked food may have helped fuel the development of larger, more energy-demanding brains over time. What about you? Does it surprise you that something as simple as cooking meat over a fire might be connected to the development of the human brain itself? It is one of the more fascinating theories in human evolution. The fire pit becomes the center of camp. As cooking became a regular, shared practice, its role within early human camps likely shifted as well. Rather than existing at the outer edge of a living space simply as a tool, fire increasingly appears to have become the actual center of daily life. Sharing a fire for cooking meant people naturally gathered in the same place at similar times. Meals, once likely a quick individual necessity, gradually became a shared social event. Over many generations, this repeated gathering around fire for food may have supported the growth of stronger social bonds, communication, and cooperation within early human groups. A small story to think about. Imagine an early camp slowly transforming over many generations. At first, a single fire sits near the edge, used quietly by one or two individuals. Slowly, others begin bringing their own food, drawn by curiosity and imitation. Eventually, that same fire becomes the literal center of the camp, surrounded permanently by the entire group. This was not simply a story about food becoming easier to eat. It represents cooking, possibly playing a real role in shaping community itself, turning a basic survival necessity into a shared, central part of daily human life. Conclusion: the story of ancient cooking is about far more than flavor or convenience. Real archaeological evidence suggests that learning to cook may have reshaped human biology, supported brain development, and helped transform scattered survival groups into genuine communities, gathered intentionally around a shared fire. What began as one uncertain bite, taken cautiously beside a flame, may have quietly helped shape much of what makes us human today, from the shape of our teeth to the way we still gather around a table to share a meal. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.